Mrs. Bitterman, you had said that you spoke German very well. How was it that you spoke such good German?
At this time when I went to school, even it was 7th grades, they demanded you have to have a foreign language. And this when I took up German, and I learned it very well. Writing, reading, speaking. This is how I know German.
And this man who was helping you, Fritz, why do you think he was helping you?
He basically cared for me because I was so young and away from home. And he basically had Rachmanis on me. There wasn't anything but friendship, like good friends, like someone to care, to somebody to have with you, and there wasn't any kind of love. There was just somebody cared for you. He really didn't care who I am or if I'm a Jewish woman or not. He didn't care. He wanted to teach a lesson to Olga. When I told him that, I didn't tell him anything. I said, we have to leave that scene. So he understood.
And who was she again?
This is Olga, the woman that the engineer brought in to help me out when I was working there, cooking for them.
And she was what nationality?
She was a Ukrainian. I promised myself, if I live through the war, I will come back and hunt her and take revenge. But I didn't. I thank God after this was over, I thank God for surviving, and I didn't think about it. I just thought to getting my life back together and to become who I was before and get back to my roots and to my Jewish life. So I did not do anything about it.
And you had said that the Ukrainians were worse than the Germans. What examples can you give of that?
What examples? They pointed me out to the Nazis. They pointed, you were more afraid of them than you were afraid of the Germans. To the German people, I can speak German, I was not afraid. If you spoke one German word, they said you are a Jude right away. Because they are so ignorant, they think the German language is like Yiddish, but it is not. It's a little similar, but it's not at all.
So when were you in Stri? What year was this?
This must have been in the middle of 42. From Stri, after this episode was over, I traveled to Morshin. Morshin was like a resort place. Yeah, this is the word I was looking. Resort with beautiful trees and forests. And there was a German hospital. As I say, I was just running towards the Germans. I did not want to be with the Poles and the Ukrainians. For some reason, they suspected me and they recognized me. As I said before, I didn't look Jewish at all, but they suspected me. So I went to Morshin, and I started to work in a hospital, in a laboratory. I always had better jobs. The other Gentile girls, they were peeling potatoes and scrubbing floors. I never did this. And I worked there for a while, and Fritz came every Sunday to see me and brought me food from his rations. He was such a fine man. Now, since I'm older and I think my life over. I said, why didn't I do anything for him? But as I say, the war was over. You needed to get back to normal. You needed to do something. So I did not do anything for him. But I'm looking for him now. Maybe he's still alive. Maybe I can do something for his family. So Fritz used to come every Sunday. Morschen was like before you came into that resort place, there was a gate like in a palace. One time I was standing at the gate waiting for him, and who do you think walks by? My cook. Hello, Maria. Nothing. He didn't think of anything, and he didn't say anything. I was very lucky.
Your cook walked by?
Yeah, he came for the weekend to this resort, and the man that I cooked with, he saw me, and he say hello, and that's it. So I saw him, but I didn't talk to him, you know. I was working in that hospital, and Fritz came to see me almost every week, and he brought me, he brought me food. I don't know if I was hungry or not, probably not. And at one time, I heard that the hospital is going away. You see, Sandy, the Germans were running from the Russians. They were running towards the Americans. They want to get into captivity to the Americans, not to the Russians. So every time they ran, and they left a few soldiers, and if the fronts are getting better, then would come back. So those were a few soldiers. So anyway, they were going away. The hospital, the military hospital, was going away. And they would not take me along. They didn't have any place for me. And it was very sad. I didn't know where to go at this point. I walked around the forest, and I said, what will happen to me now? And then I saw again a few soldiers sitting right over there. And I went there. I wasn't afraid. And I said, can you tell me what you're doing here? And they told me that they are a Nachkommando. A Nachkommando means, as I say, everybody's leaving, but a few remain in here. In case the front gets better, then they come back. And I said, is there anybody that I can speak to? I said I worked at the Lazarette. Lazarette is a hospital in German. And I said, they cannot take me along, and I'm looking for someone to go away because I cannot stay. I cannot stay here because the Poles and the Ukrainians, they fought there very much at this time. And I said, they're going to kill me here. And they say, well, there's a Hauptmann there. And I said to them, is he a good man, kind? And they said, yes. Meanwhile, while working in that hospital, in the laboratory, I used to take care of a Hauptmann. I used to put some hot applications on his face. He had like a red face and electrically, you know. But I never thought this will be him. I came in and I said to him, Guten Tag, Maria, what are you doing here? What do you need? How can I help you? And I told him, I said, Herr Hauptmann, the hospital is leaving, and they cannot take me along. And You know the situation now with the Poles and the Ukrainians, they're killing themselves out. And I have no place to go. Would you please take me with you? Please. I will cook for you. I will sew for you. I will do anything you want me to do. And he looked at me and said, good, Maria, you come with us. They stayed there over there 3 more days. And this lieutenant brought a lot of civilians with him, but they weren't Jewish. He had a mistress with the boy. He has another family. The people came along with the Germans. They didn't want to get into the Russian occupied zones, so they went with them. So I was there for 3 days, and we left Morshin from there.
How long had you been in Morshin?
Oh, I would say maybe 2 to 3 months altogether, and then we left.
And where did you live while you were there?
Oh, I don't remember, but I lived in Morshin in the quarters where they had for the help. Again, there were people from the village that were working there. Before I start, I tell you that I went away with them, I must mention one very important episode. I was working in Morshin, and I stayed with all the people that stayed in the barracks. There were girls, there were women, there were men, but we had separate quarters. And one evening, I could consider her, she was my girlfriend, let's say. Her name was Janka, Jane in English. And she said to me, Maria, do you want to go and visit my grandmother in Stri? And you had to say yes. We took the train, and we went on the train. You know, at this point, this was before the hospital was going to leave. And we riding the train, and I started to sing a German song. And Sandy, within 1 second, there was a Ukrainian Jude. He took me off the train, and he took me in to the station in Stri. I have a picture here. Not this, but this is how I looked at this point. And he brought me on the station, and I come in, there were maybe 10, 20 SS men, and that Ukrainian brought me in. Jude, 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 Jude. I was not frightened. I was not scared. In my heart I was, but I didn't show it. And I was dressed in a beautiful, I was very slim. I don't know what happened to me. I was slender. I had long hair. I had a brown back like a, a pouch back like this. Brown shoes. And I came in, they looked at me, and they asked me to sit down. I sat down, and they started to ask me questions, and I said to them, I don't understand what you're saying to me. I told the Ukrainian, I don't know what he's saying, you have to explain to me. I don't speak German. And he said to me, but you sang a German song. I said, I sang a German song. I don't understand a word I sing. I just wrote it in Polish letters, and I don't know the meaning of that song whatsoever. And the assessment, they started to talk to me in German, and I told that Ukrainian, I said, I don't know what they're saying. Finally, a Pole came over to me, a Pole, and he told me to stand up. And he pointed a gun right here, and he said to me in Polish, tell me that you are a Jew, otherwise I will shoot you. And I speak very well Polish. I said, well, if you want to shoot me, go ahead. I'm not a Jew. If you want to have me on your conscience, you can shoot me, but I'm not a Jew. So he opens a door, and he pushes me into a barrack with some bunk beds. You call it a little jail, and closes the door. I was there maybe for 2 hours. I was sleeping, and I figured, if they'll shoot me, I want nothing. But you know, they opened the door, the same Ukrainian took me out, and he said, no Jude. At this time, it was already, it was curfew time because it was war time. And they said I can go, and I said, no, I will not go, because they shoot me on the city. You know, you had to be so smart. How my mind worked, I don't know. I say again, God worked with me. And this Ukrainian took me out and brought me to her grandmother, to the house. And she was very happy to see me. That's Yamka. This was an episode that I'll never forget. But you know, you don't tell those stories anymore. Everybody has their own story. So I just keep it to myself.
While you were posing as a non-Jew, did you ever go to church? Or?
Yes. I go to church, and I went to confession, and I know how to cross over, and I kneeled, and I had Jesus in my purse and with a cross. I was a real Christian woman, and I knew all those things because our schools were not segregated, they were integrated. And so you learned all those things. So, about going away from Morshin, from there we left in 3 days, and we went into Romania. I was sitting in a kitchen wagon, in a military kitchen wagon, and there was a chauffeur, and I was sitting inside. And while we were traveling, bumps and how do you call this, that you shoot from a belt?
Machine guns?
Yeah. They fell all the time next to me, and I was very frightened at this point. We came to Romania, and I went out to look around, and Jewish stores were open then. And this was already for the end of 42. And this was the time when Romania capitulated, you know, they gave themselves up. And I said to this lieutenant, I said, can I stay here, Herr Lieutenant? I'm so tired, and I'm worn out, and I'm frightened. of the bombs and of the, how did you call it?
Yeah, the machine.
The machine guns. And he said, "Nein, Maria. You came with us, you have to go with us. When I say you can stay, then you stay." Of course, I went with them. From there, we went to Hungary. And I cooked for them, and he was a very fine man. All the women there was another girl named Maria. She never suspected me, I never suspected her. There wasn't such a thing. Everywhere we came, he found private quarters for the women to sleep at people's, like they came to you and they said, "Well, I would need one bedroom for some women," and you would give it up, you know. And he always took care of us. That lieutenant was a very fine man.
Do you remember his name?
Wille Iseler. Iseler, yeah.
Was he also the Hauptmann?
He was the Hauptmann, the lieutenant. This was only the Wehrmacht. The Wehrmacht's duty is to deliver food and ammunition to the front. I was with him probably for 2.5 years, or maybe close to 3. I never, ever heard them speak about the Jews, about concentration camps, about crematoriums, about gas chambers. Never. After the war ended, I knew nothing about such things that were in existence. So I traveled with them. We were in Romania, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, and the women were treated wonderful because they respected us, so we didn't sleep with the soldiers wherever they parked, you know, and it was very nice. At this point, I forgot who I am. I didn't speak any Yiddish. I forgot everything. And it was in Austria in 1945, May the 5th. The Hauptmann opened the kitchen wagon and he said, "Maria, the war is over. You don't have to be afraid anymore." He didn't know what I was afraid of. He thought I'm afraid of the bombs and the machine guns, which I was, you know. And this was near Vienna. And I went out of the kitchen wagon and I sat down. There was this rack, a Lennon stone rack, a real big rack. And I sat down and I cried. And I said, "God, I survived the war. But what then? Who am I? Where am I going? Where's my family? Where are my parents? Who do I belong to?" Meanwhile, they throw away their guns or whatever they had, and the American military soldiers came and they took him in to check him out, and they let him go right away. They went home. All of them went home. And I was afraid to tell him who I was. I thought, Sandy, that I'm the only Jew left in this world. I thought I'm the only Jew. So my lieutenant came over and gave me his address. "Maria, come to my city. We'll find you work. We'll find you housing." My cook asked me to come where he lived in a city, and after they were all gone, I went to my cook's city, and I moved into a a woman with a daughter. Her name was Fuchs, but she spelled herself Fuchs, and her husband hadn't returned from the war yet, and I rented a bedroom in her house, and then I worked for the Americans in the kitchen. I had to have a source to make a living, not saying who I am, but I was watching the papers, watching the Frankfurter Wochenschau. It's a German, very popular paper. And after months and months of searching, I saw a little sign up there. There's a Jewish Gemeinde, means...
organization.
Yeah, in Wiesbaden.
And what city were you in now?
I was on Idstein im Taunus. It's by Wiesbaden, not far away. It's a small city in Germany. It's not far away from Wiesbaden.
And the people you were working with, they thought you were German?
No, they knew that I'm Polish. I worked for them. I don't know what I did. I cleaned and I worked, and so I can eat because I didn't have. And at this time, I probably made some money. They paid me. Otherwise, I had to